Hello viewers, I am Dr. Gore Vittal. In this session, we are going to learn medieval drama. The lesson mainly focuses on the history of medieval drama and its different phases like the theatre from 1600 Anno Domini to 1000 Anno Domini, folk plays, mummings, disguisings, secular pageants, mystery plays, miracle plays, morality plays and interludes. The Middle Age is the period in the European history from the fall of Roman civilization in the 5th century Anno Domini to the period of Renaissance. After the fall of Roman Empire came the period known as the Dark Ages. It was the period of the political turmoil with no reliable political structure. Since then, it was marked by the frequent warfare and a virtual disappearance of urban life. The church was the only stable government and had a complete control over the people and the society. It was also the period of intellectual darkness and barbarity. Medieval drama refers to the theatre of Europe between the fall of the Western Roman Empire and the beginning of the Renaissance. Most of the medieval plays were not well documented due to the lack of surviving records, texts, a low literacy rate and the opposition of the clergy to some type of performance. In the beginning of the Middle Ages, the Roman Catholic Church banned theatrical performances mostly as an attempt to curb the excess of the Roman theatre. Since the beginning, drama has been a literary composition which is performed by the clergy, later by professional actors before an audience on the stage called a theatre. It has a particular theme, action and conflict. During the performance, the facial expressions, body language and eye-catching makeup of the actors and actresses are prominent features of a live performance on the stage. Drama was introduced to England by the Romans. Due to the encouragement from the religious and political authorities, it became a popular form of entertainment. In the view of the basic requirements, auditoriums were constructed across the country. By the medieval period, the form of early street theatre was associated with the Morris dance, which concentrated on the themes such as Saint George and the Dragon, Robin Hood, etc. These were folk tales retelling old stories, and the actors used to travel from town to town performing these plays. The medieval drama had its origin in the ceremonial worship in the church in a dialogue form. Folk plays, mummings and disguisings, secular pageants, mystery and miracle plays, morality plays and interludes. Actually, medieval drama as a genre of literature had a subtle and complex origin in these plays. With reference to the development of drama, medieval drama can be studied under 6 different headings. 1. The theatre from 600 Anno Domini to 1000 Anno Domini. 2. Folk plays, mummings and disguisings. 3. Secular pageants. 4. Mystery and miracle plays. 5. Morality plays. And 6. Interludes. A very little is known about the theatre from 600 Anno Domini to 1000 Anno Domini. There are some references to actors, jugglers, rope dances by nomadic tribes who are the remnants of Roman mimes, popular pagan festivals and religious rites. Teutonic minstrels or troubadours become the primary preservers of tribal histories. But Teutonic tribes converted to Christianity only after the 7th and 8th century, and the Scots were denounced and were labeled as bad as mimes. There were some records of histories, but a very little is known about the drama and other performances conducted. In the 10th century, the medieval drama seemed to have been reborn. From 925 Anno Domini to 975 Anno Domini, medieval drama was reintroduced to the church services during the Christian ceremonies. During this period, pagan rites were very popular among people belonging to different strata of society. Church had no choice than accepting it. Hence, we find many aspects of pagan rites in Christian ceremonies. The church used to celebrate Christian festivals. Historically, it is found that Christmas, the birth of Lord Christ, was not celebrated in December till 4th century. To take the advantage of such festivals, church started performing shows for various festivals, which include winter festival, spring festival, Christmas, Easter Sunday, etc. The year 975 Anno Domini onwards, the church authorities lost control over the performances outside the church. The performances on various themes were organized by the church, and the actors were usually the people or clergy related to the church. But by 975 Anno Domini, many dramas were performed by altar boys. The practice blossomed and playwrights wrote plays with biblical themes. The plays such as Easter, Christmas, the 12th night, etc. were performed by altar boys, and for the first time the control of drama went outside the church. Gradually, it made the drama more secular, basically, which was controlled by secular groups of the time. Then it gave a different shape to medieval drama. The altar boys initiated with performances and dances showing the foolishness and parodies of the church practices. This development was followed by the role of guilds who took over performances of plays in some cities and towns. The guilds had control over certain plays and stories which were based on the religious teachings and the Bible. For example, the Bakers' Guild controlled by the play about the Last Supper, and Shipwrights' Guild controlled the plays about Noah. In England, the folk plays took the form of energetic dances Those dances were called Morris dances, since they had similarity with the Moorish performances. The folk plays were mostly exhibited in the middle of rough and tumble fighting and buffoonery. Those plays had a thread of dramatic action. The characters in these plays were mostly the famous figures of popular tradition. Some of the popular folk plays were St. George, Robin Hood, Maid Marian, and the Green Dragon. Mummings and disguisings were considered to be other branches of the folk plays. This was the collective name for many forms of processions, shows, and other forms of entertainment. Among the upper classes, many people used to attend formal dancing parties where performances wearing different masks used to participate and perform plays on various themes. In the subsequent development in the medieval drama was the spectacular display given on the occasions like king, prince, or a person of high rank made a formal entry into a town. Those plays were called secular pageants. Such plays were consisted of elaborate scenic background set up near the gate or on the street. The figures from some allegorical or traditional history used to engage in some pantomime or declamation. But those performances had a very little dramatic dialogue, or sometimes no dialogues at all. In the course of time, it was noticed that all these forms of medieval drama were very minor affairs and had no later influence. The real drama of the Middle Ages grew up without any design and by the mere nature of things from the regular services of the church. The mystery and miracle plays were the early phase of English drama. As mentioned above, there were the religious plays, mostly based on the events and stories from the Bible. In particular, the mystery plays were based on the subjects taken from the Bible, and the miracle plays primarily dealt with the lives of saints or martyrs. Miracle plays on the subject of miracles performed by saints developed late in the 12th century in England and Europe. These plays focused on the life of Virgin Mary and Saint Nicholas. The purpose of those plays was didactic and moralistic. The first mystery and miracle play was dramatized and performed in 1110. Since beginning, the mystery and miracle plays were fully controlled by the priests and the church authorities. In the course of time, they were performed by the group of artists and guilds. Initially, the plays were mostly written and acted by priests, but later, other people also started performing various roles during such performances. About 1250, the plays moved outdoors into the churchyard and into open fields, town squares, or the city streets. As geographically further from the church, the clergy had less control over the content. In that period, Almost all the priests and playwrights adopted Latin language for writing the plays. Then the plays were also presented in the local vernacular languages instead in the Latin. This allowed the message of the Bible to be more accessible to the illiterate people and audience. These new plays in the vernacular languages based on Bible stories are called mystery plays. In a short period of time, the mystery and miracle plays became very popular and the frequency of performances also increased. The people belonging to different strata of society started showing interest in the genre of literature. In the meantime, Latin was replaced by English and other local languages. That development played a crucial role which was relatively instrumental for the advent of English drama. The mystery and miracle plays were the landmark in the development of English drama as such. It made a significant contribution in the development of English drama in particular. The performances of those plays were continued till 16th century. The earliest known religious play was Adam, which describes the fall of man. Some other mystery and miracle plays are Noah, Nativity and Shepherd's plays. The morality play is the latter stage in the development of drama. Like the mystery and miracle plays, the morality plays were basically didactic in purpose and mostly had personification of abstractions such as mankind, mercy, peace, good and bad angels, etc. In those plays, the devil plays a very important role with the possibilities of tragedies. Vice is shown as the humorous character and the hero is generally personification of humanity. The morality plays were never part of any cycle but developed independently as moral tales in the late 14th or early 15th century in the Europe and England. They do not illustrate moments in the Bible, nor do they describe the life of Christ or the saints. Instead, they describe the lives of people facing the temptations of the world. The plays are careful to present a warning to the unwary that their souls are always in the peril, that the devil is on constant watch, and that people must behave properly if they are to be saved. Later on, allegories were introduced in the morality plays. Allegory can be found in the play In the Castle Perseverancer. Mankind is a short morality play, whereas Every Man is a masterpiece and is the best example of morality play. Every man is a personified Christian virtues and vices as they battle with one another for control of a mortal soul. These plays were explicitly designed to teach a moral and improve the behavior of their audience. All these plays are allegorical and the characters are personified abstractions of human qualities. The morality plays are considered to be very important in the development of English drama, because these plays become free from the sole control of religion and the church. The writers were given freedom in the choice of the theme and characterization. They did not remain confined to scriptures for their themes and characters. This factor became instrumental in the growth of English drama. Later, the morality plays were called Tudor morality plays, which were in contrast with the early morality plays. The Tudor morality plays continued the didactic nature of the original morality plays, but they became more secular in theme, characterization and dramatization. Some of the famous morality plays are Magnificence, The Four Elements, Satire of the Three States, King Jahan, etc. The interludes represent the next important stage in the development of English drama. The term interlude is generally used for drama before the beginning of English tragedy with Gorboduc. Actually, interlude refers to a short play or, in general, any representation between parts of a larger stage production. It is a piece of music performed between acts of a theatrical production or a short play within a larger theatrical work. Some interludes are full-length plays. Ralph Roister Doister is one such example, which has a full length as William Shakespeare's Macbeth. John Heywood's The Four Ps is a remarkable interlude. Those days, the themes of interludes were science, philosophy, farcical situations, and even the stories from the mysteries. In England, Robin Hood plays were popular, and all over Europe, interludes with simple plot lines were performed at various social functions. Secular dramas were also usually performed in winter and were often associated with schools, universities and nobility, which had the resources, time and space to perform various plays. Early in the 16th century, another sort of play called interlude largely superseded the morality in its turn. But just as in the case of mystery and morality, the interlude developed out of the morality and the two cannot always be distinguished. Some single play being distinctly described by the authors as moral interludes. In the interludes, the realism of the moralities became still more pronounced, so that the typical interlude is nothing more than a coarse farce with no pretense at religious or ethical meanings. The name interlude denotes literally a play between, but the meaning intended is uncertain. The plays were given sometimes in the halls of nobles and gentlemen, either when banquets were in progress or on the other festival occasions. Sometimes before select audiences in the town halls or on village greens. The actors were sometimes strolling companies of players who might be minstrels or rustics, and were sometimes also retainers of the great nobles, allowed to practice their dramatic ability on tours about the country. when they were not needed for their master's entertainment. In the interlude moralities and interludes first appears the wise, a rogue who sums up in himself all the vices of the older moralities and serves as the buffoon. Interlude in theatre, early form of English dramatic entertainment, sometimes considered to be the transition between medieval morality plays and Tudor dramas. Most interludes were sketches of a non-religious nature. Some plays were called interludes that are today classed as morality plays. John Heywood, 1497 to 1580, one of the most famous interlude writers, brought the genre to perfection in his The Play of the Weather, published in 1533, and the play called The 4 pp, published in 1544, and to some extent of the latter times. Among these traditions were the disregard for unity, partly of action, but especially of time and place, the mingling of comedy with even the intense scenes of tragedy, the nearly complete lack of stage scenery, with a resultant willingness in the audience to make the largest possible imaginative assumptions, the presence of certain stock figures such as the clown, and the presentation of women's part by men and boys. The plays, therefore, must be reckoned within dramatic history. I hope you have understood this lesson. See you once again in the next lesson. Thank you.